I mentioned earlier on this morning that I would talk to Paul Treyvaud, the chef owner of Treyvauds restaurant in Killarney, and he's very much in big demand this morning. And it follows on from my conversation with Kev down at Sage Restaurant in Middleton. Also the communication from Idaho, the cafe, Richard Jacobs Cafe on Caroline Street to the Taoiseach. You know, we all know where we're at. We know how serious this is. We know the cost of it. It's just people can't understand why there doesn't seem to be any kind of uniformity in the thinking going forward, and that's what Richard Jacob was saying. 500,000 people unemployed, at least 150,000 of those in hospitality. All I believe it's probably double that really with regards to hospitality and the support services. And it just leads me on to my conversation with Paul, because he says regardless of what happens, and he's no COVID denier and he's not an anti-masker, but he says come hell or high water, he's opening the restaurant on the 1st of July, and he joins me by phone. Paul, good morning.
Neil, how are you, sir?
Good. Since you made that call or made that announcement, is anybody giving you any grief for asking you to shut up and cop on?
Well, look, when you play in the cesspit that is Twitter, you're always going to come across a couple of monsters in there. The thing is you got to stay and fight them. You can't just walk away, because some fellas might start shouting stuff at you. But look, that's all part and
yeah, but no restaurant association, no vintners, no politicians, no NEFIT. Nobody's saying you're being irresponsible.
I wouldn't say myself and the Restaurant Association see eye to eye. I'm a firm believer I can represent myself. The Vintners Association have tweeted it, and they said that very supportive. Ismay was onto it as well. Like, this has reached 1.6 million people at the moment, and we're talking 95-96% overwhelming support. I'm just flabbergasted at how this has gone, from people right activists to lawyers, solicitors, medical professionals, doctors, nurses, scientists, everybody coming on board saying, at last, somebody has said what we're thinking.
But by July 1st, in fairness, I know it's crystal ball land, really, but say July 1st, you're only a couple of weeks ahead of what probably will be outdoor dining anyway, right?
Well, the reality is, Neil, is that there's a handful of restaurants that can do outdoor dining. So outdoor dining is, they need to stop talking about that. It's not going to happen. Majority of restaurants, if we want to do outdoor dining, you're going to have to drive around us, because we're straight onto the road. So outdoor dining is not a goer at all, and we need to stop pretending that that's going to be the great white savior coming into the room. The reason why I said the 1st of July, and I made it clear in the tweet, is I'm not an anti-vaxxer, I'm not a COVID denier. I don't think Bill Gates knows when we're going to the toilet if we get vaccinated. I don't believe in any of that. In fact, I have no time for any of that kind of stuff. However, I'm saying the 1st of July is giving the government 4 months to sort this out. And if they can't sort this out in 4 months, then they are clearly not able to sort this out. And enough is enough now at this stage. And the reason why I pick a date like that is that at least it's a decision. Boris Johnson, I don't know if he's made the best decision or the worst decision. Time will tell. But he's made a decision. And the people of the UK now know and now have a definite guideline as to when things are going to work. Unless, of course, everything blows up and goes skew-ways. But at least he'll turn around and he'll say, look, lads, this hasn't gone to plan. We're stepped back about 3 or 4 weeks. We did it last year. And we can't get anything right at the moment. I'm not criticising. I don't believe a single second there's a politician out there that's doing this on purpose. But what they're doing is so wrong. The communication is so wrong.
But I mean, you may not say that. You may say that they're not doing it on purpose, but they are pretty dumb a lot of the time with the things that they say and the leaking and trying to outdo each other with announcements. I mean, I'm not calling them dumb. I'm not honing in on any one individual. But yesterday alone, Stephen Donnelly went on TV last night and said that they were still in talks with the teachers' unions when the talks had finished and everything concluded that afternoon.
Yeah, it's appalling. Because I hate when people say you can't criticise the government and not give a solution. If I was running this country, I'd sack every single one of the communication advisors that are there. They are beyond pathetic. Leaking stories at 10 o'clock at night on a rag mag, 9 o'clock in the morning to a radio station that doesn't have a huge listenership. Do they not realise how much this is infuriating the Irish people?
But what protocols will you put in place on July 1st? Let's say if the vaccine stalls or it slows down. It's slow enough as it is, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, so last year we adhered to all guidelines that was given from Fáilte Ireland, from the government, and there wasn't a single case attributed to the hospitality industry throughout July and August. And it was the 2 busiest months, and they're 20 years. It's the 2 busiest months.
But hang on a second. I mean, there was information released of restaurants. There was one in particular in Cork that led to that in itself from the city centre became a super spreader. So that's not true.
Well, I don't know about the one in Cork. I can tell you about the one in Kerry is that we had nothing in Killarney. No, and maybe there was very unlucky, but
no, it wasn't a super spreader in July and August. It was later in the year, but it was nonetheless.
Okay, so you can't give me half a story and criticise me on that. So when exactly did it happen?
I think it was probably when things got relaxed. But I'm just saying, maybe you're not saying. I interpreted that you're saying there was no case ever associated with a restaurant, because clearly there were.
Yeah, no, well, down in Kerry I'm talking about that. There was nothing that came back that this was from a restaurant in Kerry. We did everything like all the restaurants did. We dropped to a minimum of 25% our capacity. We did all the hand sanitizer. We did all the usuals. We did absolutely everything. And there was nothing, absolutely nothing.
Okay,
now,
so
all of a sudden...
So July 1st, July 1st, will it be 25% capacity?
I have no problems dropping it down to 50% capacity.
Okay.
I sit 80 people in my restaurant on a normal day.
Okay.
If I had 3 tables of 4 downstairs and managed to turn that over 2 or 3 times in a day, I can survive. I can take all my staff off social benefits. I can do everything. We can have a bit of sanity come back in, and we will do it 100% safe. There'll be about 5 metres in between each table.
Because a lot of businesses don't want pandemic payments. Sure, they don't.
Neil, the last thing you ever want when you become self-employed is a handout from the state. You just don't want it. I don't know if it's in our DNA or what it is, but I want to be able to run my own show. I don't want any help. In fact, it kills me to have to get some help to get paid subsidies for the team that I have there. It's absolutely, that's not what I do. And all I want to do is, I want to do it safe, but you can't give me an argument of saying, look, your scientific proof doesn't suit our narrative. We only listen to science if it suits this way. You can't say, don't compare me to a country that's doing better than we are, but we have no problems comparing us to countries that are doing worse.
I mean, but you wouldn't be asking for vaccine certification or anything to go in. You're just saying, I'll reduce it to 50%, I'll distance the tables, we'll do the hand sanitizing, we'll do all of the protocols, and arrest me if you want.
Well, look, the last thing I obviously want to be is arrested. I'm law-abiding like everyone in the country, but if by me saying that has gotten the media attention that this has and the awareness, I'm not denying, I condolences go to absolutely every family that has lost anybody to the COVID virus. I'm not denying for a second that it's there. However, while we're looking to put out the fire of COVID in front of us, there is a volcano erupting behind us, burning everything in its sight. People's livelihoods destroyed. People are just mentally just fried at this stage. People that I know who are the strongest people in the world are just broken. They can't see any hope out of this. And Micheál Martin, if I could give him 1 ounce of advice, is that the easiest decision in the world, the easiest thing to do in the world is to make a decision. The harder thing might be to get the right decision. But would you just lead and tell the Irish people, here's the dates, here's what we're doing, we're going to do everything. If they have to go for a zero COVID policy, then try it, because what we're doing isn't working.
Are you referring there to the open airports and ports and the thousands that came in January?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Since January, 98% plus of the cases of COVID are the UK variant.
Yeah.
But they weren't sitting in bars and restaurants waiting for us to open up. It came into the country. We have thousands of people that have come in from Brazil. They're not quarantine meals. They're out working. They're out in the community. And I don't care if Stephen Donnelly says they have to by law. They're not doing it. And that's the reality of it. So are we going to see in 2 weeks' time an explosion of the Brazilian variant? And if we don't take any action, in 2 months' time, are we going to see one of the Polish variant or the Zimbabwean variant or whatever else comes in?
And why July the 1st? Have you done maths saying that you need July and August to even have a business?
100%, because that's when we opened last year, was the 29th of June, pretty much July and August. And the reality is that in rural Ireland, if we cannot trade for July and August, I'm telling you now, 80% of businesses are gone, because there's no point opening up in November when there's nobody in Killarney, when there's nobody in Kinsale, when there's nobody in Kenmare. We will be absolutely gone. And when this government is gone and the next guys come in and blame the previous government, we're all sitting looking at the absolute mess we've been left behind. So you've got to trust us. You can't turn around and say, look, Kerry has no cases. But sure, we can't open up Kerry. Sure, everyone from Dublin's going to come in.
But a lot of countries around the world and around Europe, very few of them are in lockdown. An awful lot of European countries are in curfew, or they have localised lockdowns depending on their numbers. Would that work?
Well, basically the answer to that question is we have to give it a shot, because what we're doing isn't working. So you just need to drive around at any stage. There's no level 5 going on in this country. People are out. People are walking. So you shut it down. It's a 6 p.m. curfew. One person from the house can go out and get the shopping. It's 4 weeks of hell, but we're out then at that stage.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Then we do kind of like I said, open up the businesses to half the capacity. And let's see how we get going with that. But what we're doing is not working.
So your tweet, I just under pressure for time, I know you are too.
Yeah.
Your tweet that you're going to open come hell or high water, is that a call out to other restaurateurs, other gastropubs, other cafes to do likewise?
I would never tell anybody what to do, but I would say there is definitely strength in numbers. And if enough people come together, there is no doubt that government officials have to listen to us. They have to hear that what we're saying is true. We're not looking at today, we're not looking at next month. We're looking at 12 months' time. And if we don't get open, we won't be here in 12 months' time. I won't have to argue with anyone about my business because my business will be gone.
And can you shed any light on this news story coming out of Tralee, a group of business owners in Tralee who have come together to try and reorganise and to reopen the small businesses in the town on March 1st. Is that true or is that fake news? Do you know?
I don't know. I've seen it on social media. That'd be something now that I'd be quite quick to turn around and say I have no interest in that. Look, best of luck to them if that's their agenda, but it's not mine. It's not safe to open now. There's no doubt about it. You can't have 1,000 cases a day throughout the community and open up. That won't work. But if we continue doing what we're doing, we will still have 1,000 cases a day in July, and we can't open. We still have 1,000 cases a day in October, and we can't open. So don't blame the hospitality industry. Don't blame the hairdressers. Don't blame any of the small businesses that are closed. The issue is with whoever is controlling the ship. And I can't see a captain anywhere. Okay,
I'd love to get some thoughts from the public following my conversation with you, but I'll let you get on. I hope that we'll talk again in the not too distant future, but thanks for taking the call in the meantime. Appreciate it as always.
I appreciate it.
That's Paul Treyvaud from Treyvaud's restaurant in Killarney, who is slamming government incompetence and the handling of all of this, and he says if he doesn't open by July 1st, on July 1st, the summer will be gone and the business will be gone. The numbers just don't add up. The numbers just don't.